Sullivan and the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Dawkins.
Bow with me, please. Father God, the creator of heaven and earth and giver of life, sustainer of life, Father, we thank you for the blessing of this evening. Father, we thank you for the time we can assemble tonight and conduct the business of this city. Father, I'm grateful for these men and women who serve in the capacity of this council. Father, I ask that your discernment, wisdom, your peace be upon them tonight as they discuss the matters before them. Father, we thank you so much for this great nation, this wonderful state, and this community that we have to live, work, and play in. Father, we ask that those who are all over the world tonight preserving our freedom, that they be protected, that they be comforted. Those who are sacrificing at home for them to be away, that they be comforted and have peace as well. Father, thank you so much for your son Jesus. We're grateful for the sacrifice, blood that was shed on our behalf. We ask all this in his holy name.
Amen.
Please join me in the flag salute. I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. When you have community-related announcements,
Just like to give we received our sales tax report within the last day and wanted to give everybody a report on it. This is our March report, and it showed us that we were down in the way of sales tax collections about $75,000 from 2.4 million, 2.463 to 2.388. We also saw a decrease in use tax from 115 to 102. For the month, we were down approximately $87,000. We're still a little bit ahead of the previous year's collection, running at 184,000 and some change right now through March. Have 3 months left in the fiscal year. Compared to projection, however, though, we are 1.4% below projection, or about $366,000.
thank you, Mr. Henson. Any other announcements? Next order of business is the consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda so that members of the City Council, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any item proposed on the consent agenda does not meet with the approval of all the council members or members of the audience wish to discuss a proposed item with the council, that item will be removed and heard in regular order.
move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries.
Mayor and Council, if it's be okay, I'd like to read items D1, D2, and D3 as our staff recommendation is going to be to continue that for 2 weeks. So item D1, discussion consideration of accepting 2 permanent utility easements from Big Kahuna Properties, LLC, and JRVB Investments, LLC for the construction of the proposed water line extensions associated with the Carl Albert Titan Water Tower Improvement Project located in the southeast quarter of Section 12, Township 11 North, Range 2 West of the Indian Meridian, Oklahoma County, Oklahoma. Item D2 is discussion consideration of awarding the bid to and entering into a contract with Holland Backhoe, Inc. in the amount of $387,570 for the Carl Albert Titan Tower Modification Project. And D3 is discussion consideration of approving change order number 1 to the contract with Garber Engineering, amending the original contract amount by $6,260, making the new contract total $56,760 for the Carl Albert Titan Tower Modification Project.
On this one, Guy, the Big Kahuna, I think that's the name of the company, right?
That's correct.
Are they good with all of this and they're ready to roll? Are we holding up their business development project?
Who we would be holding up would be the contractor, which was Holland Backhoe, and we have confirmed that they're okay with extending this.
I would assume by pushing back the backhoe, we're pushing back Big Kahuna's development.
Well, Big Kahuna was one of the two grantors of easements, property owners.
The line.
So, no, they're just simply waiting for the acceptance of the easements by the city.
I think I'm confused. Okay.
Okay, so the city,
Real confused if you heard the entire deal.
so the city needed to acquire 2 easements, which we have.
Is the easement for the tower?
The easements are for the water,
For the water
existing
line?
water.
I'm caught up now. I got
Well, for an existing 2 existing water lines that are already in place, and for a additional water line that needs to be installed from the tower to Post Road.
for a potential development over there, I would assume.
No, it would be to resolve the intake and outflow of water so that we address our trihalomethane issues in the tower.
Gotcha.
But I'm not positive it's trihalomethane. Bill?
Some big word that Bill's gonna
Okay,
help
he
me out
said
with one
yes,
day.
so,
All right, I
so
got
it
you.
is, by gosh.
Bill?
Yes,
That's a $10,000
Cool, thanks.
world.
okay.
Gotcha.
Move to table till the 22nd.
Have a motion and a second to tables item D1, 2, and 3 until the 22nd of March. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
D4, discussion consideration of approving and passing an ordinance amending Chapter 37, Streets and Sidewalks of the Midwest City Code, Article 1 in general, by taking Section 37-9 out of reserve, entitling it Street Light Fee Fund, which shall read as specified in the ordinance, establishing an effective date and providing for repealer and severability. The proposed ordinance would establish a new utility fee intended to fund our ever-increasing street lighting costs. The fee would be $1.75 on residential account, $7.50 on commercial utility accounts, $1 per apartment for apartment complexes with more than 3 units, and $1 per month per occupied pad site for manufactured home parks. You have additional information in that memo. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Some people from the audience that indicated a desire to speak on this issue. Jerry, if you'd state your name and your address for the record, sir.
Jerry Minor, 5900 Southeast 11th. This one is one I caught wind of at the Beacon, and I did some looking into it. And fees are generally something that you specifically are going to have a benefit from. Your water, your sewer, sanitation, speeding ticket if you happen to be lucky enough to afford a car that goes fast enough. Those are things that are a fee. So I went ahead and I looked in the charter to find out the fees that we have in Midwest City. Ironically, there's none of them that are basically for the general public usage, like the street lights. Most of them that I saw were all specific in nature, in which there was a relationship between the individual and that fee that was granted. Tax, on the other hand, was for those items that are for the general public as a whole. Streetlights are not for me, streetlights are not for you, they're for the general public as a whole. And that should be taken out of the general fund as a tax and not as a fee. This would be the only fee that I was able to find in the short period of time that I had to
And Mr. Maynard, I will not argue with you about your conclusion, because that's your opinion and you're entitled to that. What I do have to address, however, is the premise that you are resting your opinion on, and that is the difference between a fee and a tax. And you're absolutely right. A tax is for general operations, general benefit, things that are of general benefit to the entire city. But a fee is for a specific purpose. And it's not necessarily that it has to benefit you personally that you have a street light on your property. But just like drainage, just like stormwater, both of which are current fees on our utility bills, they do go for something, for a specific purposes. In effect, they're earmarked for a specific purpose. In this case, street lighting, which is a benefit to the general public. It is a municipal purpose. It does serve, I could be lying to you, but I think that Chief Klebs would tell you that the more lighting that you have, the less crime you have. Criminals generally tend to lurk in the shadows and break into houses on the dark side and things like that. And so actually, by providing more streetlights, you are providing a safer community.
Well, and I agree with your statement that you made on the drainage fee and the stormwater fee, but those are regulatory fees. Those are separate. because
Those are not regulatory fees.
Those are regulatory fees. When I looked that up, those are the items that came up that you can do a fee for because those are regulatory. Those are required because the drainage fee and the stormwater fee came about when it came up with the Stormwater Act, the federal government did, and said you will have X number of people and you will do this. And so we were able to we came back and said we will have to do a fee because this is a regulatory fee. So those aren't, I mean, even though what you're saying is true, they're a fee, but they're a regulatory fee.
I have a hard time not saying Councilman Maynard. Sorry about that. I would agree with you on the stormwater. I would not agree with you on the drainage. The drainage is for the purpose of helping to maintain our drainage infrastructure throughout the city. Stormwater fee was created as a result of the national stormwater pollution requirements that have been imposed on us by the federal government.
But I believe that we ought to take and at least hold with what the charter has. Everything in the charter so far that I have been able to find, a fee is something that is specific to an individual
Not to an individual.
that he has done or he has received.
No.
He is getting the water, he's getting the sanitation, he's gets the speeding ticket, he pays the court fees. All of those were fees. Everything else was done as a tax. You get a building permit, it's a fee. You get all of those were fees, but those are specific in nature of what that person has a relationship between the fee and that entity. This would be totally opposite. And I agree that there needs to be something done to raise revenue for it, but bringing up a fee is not the way to do it. It's a general public usage. It is not specific to each individual. You got people coming from Del City, Moore, Norman, Guthrie, Mustang, all of those utilize those lights just as much as a resident in the city. You get a guy that lives on a street that doesn't have any lights, he's paying for a fee for street lights, and he doesn't even have anything in there to light up his neighborhood. It is not fair. It is not the way it should be done. It is a tax, and that's the way it should be treated, and not as a fee. Let the people decide on it if you want to, and put it up there as a tax, and let them see what they're going to do. They're going to tell you they don't want it, and they're going to vote against it.
Any other questions, Mr. Maynard? Thank you, sir. Anyone else? State your name and address, sir.
Is it on now? Okay. My name is Doug Bebout. I live at 13,200 Shirley Lane. I signed up to speak on this because, as a citizen, I agree with Vaughn's assessment. I too drive through the city. My family lives here in the city, and I work in the city, 24-hour shift. So I'm out at night, and I see these areas that need lighting. I would agree with Kathy that I think the police chief would strongly second that. And as a customer of the city services, I'd be more than happy to pay my fair share. I'm also excited about the fact that this is going to create some relief to our general fund. And as a city employee, I realize how thin everything is getting stretched, specifically with the Affordable Care Act and specifically to retirees insurance. I don't want to step on Mr. Sullivan's toes, but I have something I'd like to hand to the council if is that legal to do? Document one, sorry.
While you're passing that out, Doug, I just want to point out, in case some people didn't hear, I think you said you agreed with Kathy on something. Don't know if that's happened before, so
Are we noting
that was kind of a neat thing there, Doug.
Yeah, one of those, I only got enough for the actual. From the ground up. So just as an example of a secondary benefit beyond the street lighting situation in Mr. Sullivan's budget, what I've done here is I went through the 15-16 budget, and I pulled every department that pays retirees insurance, and I have them listed here. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth column over, that's their total liability out of this year's budget, and it's ranked from highest to lowest. Now, in this year's budget, on the second page, that first little heading there, the total budgeted cost of retirees insurance subsidy in the 15-16 budget is $582,602. And from the article in the Beacon and from Mr. Sullivan's letter, you know, this was going to free up $490,000 in the general fund. So just as an example, if we were to take 100% of that and put that towards offsetting the retirees insurance subsidy, that would leave a remaining cost of $92,602. And then what I did is I relisted those departments, and in the second column over you can see that's the percentage of ownership each department has in the retiree cost. So for example, the fire department in 15-16 we had to budget $329,000. If we applied this template that I've shown you here, we take the 56.47% times the remaining liability of $92,000, our 16-17 cost would be $52,292, which would free up $276,720 in the fire department by itself. And I have them all listed out there, like for example, where's streets? I saw it on there earlier. So streets, you know, they have 1.15% responsibility to that subsidy. So you times that by the $92,000. Their new cost is $1,000, which frees up about $5,600 in their budget. I know that's no consolation to $490, but by the secondary benefit would be that we could put this money back into the general fund and use it in such a way as that it would benefit and relieve pressure off of every operating department in the budget. We could touch a lot of budgets. We could provide a lot of relief with this money. So thank you for your time.
Mr. Maynard for the rebuttal.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, I don't if you're gonna hit me with a fee, the fee should be for the lights, not to supplement or to make the budget down the line for some other department. The fee would be for street lights. It is not, would not, should not, and shall not be used for anything other than what the fee was generated for. Anything in excess should be returned, should not be kept. So if the bill for
think
that
Mr.
thing is only
I
300,000
think,
and
Mr.
you're
Mayor,
collecting,
we talked about building a fund balance in the street lighting fee to be able to improve the lighting we have and also to improve,
you shouldn't be, you should
but,
not
and
be
also,
using
and
it.
also to put street lights on the new 4-lane roads that we have, which is obviously needed.
You shouldn't be using that to build a slush fund to be able to do that. A fee should be just for the particular amount of money necessary for that particular activity, and that would be to operate those lights, not to fund new ones, not to take and do any of that other. And not to be using it for wide range, to supplement the general fund. That should not be the intent of this thing. Streetlights is the only thing that it should be for, nothing else. If you were to take and do it, and I don't think you should be doing it. Because it's actually a tax, because it's general purpose usage and not.
I agree that it should be used for street lights, which is the purpose of the fee if we do that.
So, as far as taking and utilizing it to supplement or relieve this stuff off of the other departments, I think that would be highly illegal.
I agree. Anything else?
It's been, maybe a silly question, where's the money coming to pay for the existing streetlights that have been happening?
Comes from the city's general fund. Part of the money that comes in from sales tax, the money that comes in through fines and penalties at municipal court, franchise taxes, building permit fees, all of those things represent the various sources for the general fund.
You talking, Rick?
No, it's going to.
Go ahead.
I've always thought we need more streetlights, and it's one of the things that I've actually mentioned in the past. I have no problem with a fee to enhance, repair, maintain our streetlights. As far as what that will do to the rest of the budget, I don't think that that's something that's even for discussion tonight. I just think that's a matter of whether or not we have a fee to help cover that. So I support the streetlights, but the overall impact on the rest of the city budget and what you can use the money for actually is not going to be up to me. So I just wanted to say I do think we need more streetlights, and I think that we need to maintain the ones that we do. It would be unfortunate if we obtained a fee, came up with money to be able to put that in, and then we did not actually enhance our streetlights in the city, add more so that we could use that money to fund other things. It's just my 2 cents.
I like the idea of more streetlights. Being that it's a new fee, though, I am kind of concerned. I think I would feel more comfortable if the citizens wanted it and the citizens voted on it, and we formulated some mechanism to let them do that since it's new. I kind of feel uncomfortable being a fee. That's all I got.
Anyone else?
I'd like to make a motion to pass the order. It is. I'd like to make a motion to pass it.
Second.
Motion and second to approve item D4. Is it 4? 5.
4.
It's all 4.
Hey, let's take a vote for 5.
We have a motion on the floor to approve item D4. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Nay over here.
Let the record show that Councilman 1 voted nay, all others voted aye.
Next item is an addendum. And
I've got that part.
I'm having trouble.
Discussion and consideration of approving and passing an ordinance amending Midwest City Code, Chapter 28, offenses miscellaneous by amending Article 2, offenses against morals, Section 28-20, disorderly housed, and providing for a repealer and severability. This item appeared on the discussion item for February the 9th, but was continued.
I would like to take no action on this item, if that be the will of the council.
Is that a motion?
You don't make a motion to take no action, you just say it.
Make a motion to strike.
But if that's good with you, I'd like to do that at this time. Looks to be good.
We have a motion to take no action?
Sure.
What, Kathy, do we?
Explain no action versus strike.
If no one says that they want to talk about it, then we just, it just, that's the end of it for the day.
Nobody makes a motion to vote on it.
Correct.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
So since,
Go straight to
we
new
just-
business, public discussion.
unless someone objects to that, we just move on.
So we don't have to vote on that.
Correct.
I would still like to emphasize, Daniel, that I'm for what the cause is, but I would like to get a little more legal input and some input from others to where we can make it better, just if it's be brought on that it's done properly with less flaws.
Very well.
Is there any new business or public discussion for the Midwest City Council? Any new business or public discussion for the Midwest City Council? Come forward, sir. If you'd state your name and your address for the record.
My name is Shannon Landsberger. I'm at 1949 Rue Lane Drive.
And sir, so just so there's clarification, in the new business and public discussion, there is a three-minute time limit. And so if you try to keep your comments to that length of time, please.
Okay. We recently had the discussion on the lights. You guys passed that. You know, I'm not saying whether I'm for or against, but as someone who will be paying that fee, I'd just like to state to you guys that I would like to make sure, for you guys to make sure that since we are going to be paying an extra fee for that, that you enforce with OG&E or whoever it is that maintains the lights, that be done. Because currently the condition that they're in is a poor condition. And I believe that if we've been paying for every light that's in the city to be on, it's not on.
Okay.
It's not been maintained in a good form.
I know that's been an issue before, and it's something the city has addressed, but we'll continue to do that.
My understanding is OG&E themselves no longer maintain the lights. They hire a contractor, and that contractor would be the one that OG&E would have to go after. But anyways, that's more information for you guys to look at.
I do believe that's correct, and we're aware of that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chair would entertain a motion to go into recess and then come back to this last item later.
Move to recess to executive session.
Second.
No.
Actually,
Want to recess the Midwest City Council and go to,
Move to recess the council.
second.
a motion and second to recess. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Call to order the Midwest City Municipal Authority. The consent agenda, these items are placed on the consent agenda so that trustees of the Midwest City Municipal Authority by unanimous consent can approve routine items by one motion. If any item proposed on the consent agenda does not meet with the approval of all trustees or members of the audience who wish to discuss a proposed item with the council, it will be removed and heard in regular order.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
A motion is second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries. Is there new business and public discussion, new business or public discussion for the Midwest City Municipal Authority? Any new business or public discussion for the Midwest City Municipal Authority?
Move to adjourn.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Call to order the Midwest City Memorial Hospital Authority. Consent agenda, discussion and consideration of approving the minutes of the staff briefing and regular meeting February the 23rd, 2016 as submitted.
Move to approve.
Have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda item 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. I guess I kind of got sidetracked on this deal. Discussion and consideration of declaring the,
Yeah, those were consent items.
okay.
So,
Well, I read the first one, so there wasn't any. Do we need to still do something on that, Kathy?
Yeah, accepting the hospital authority performance.
no, I think he's saying that he read the first item. Did your motion approve both the first and second item on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So
all
now
right.
we're to discussion.
Thank you.
I'll-
Now,
I'll-
discussion items. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Discussion, consideration of accepting the hospital authority's investment performance review for the period ending December 31, 2015, and action to reallocate assets, change fund managers, or make changes in the statement of investment policy, guidelines, and objectives. The report is attached as recommended by our financial advisor, Jim Garrels. Staff recommends approval and acceptance.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve item C1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Is there any new business or public discussion for the Midwest City Memorial Hospital Authority? New business or public discussion for the Midwest City Memorial Hospital Authority?
Move to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn. Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then we'll reconvene the Midwest City Municipal,
City Council.
the Midwest City Council. And the next item is executive session.
Now move to go to executive session.
This is executive session, discussion, consideration of one entering into executive session as allowed under 25 OS Section 307B1 to discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of the city manager, and two, in open session, taking action as appropriate based upon the discussion in executive session.
Move to go to executive session.
Second.
Have a motion and second to move to executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries. We'll be in executive session. Folks, that's the last item on the agenda tonight.